All right, so these notes are going to cover the age of absolutism and the particular people that we need to cover for the age of absolutism. As always, you need to be following along in your notes, jotting things down, answering questions if they appear that way, and obviously completing the video. So, if you look at the word absolutism, it does have absolute in it, meaning we're talking here about someone that has total or complete power, right? Absolutism, you have total or complete power. Let's see. There we go. It's a age that comes up in, a theory that comes up in European countries, where the monarchs, the kings, are going to increase their own power, the power of the central government, the power that they have for themselves. So there's two key pieces. There is the concept of centralized power, so all power in the hands of the king. And this very widely accepted at the time period concept called divine right to rule. And so when we're talking about divine, you're talking about the chosen by God, essentially. That a family line of rulers was put into power eons ago by God himself, and therefore all of their power comes from God. And if that's the case, then you can't actually question him, because questioning him would be questioning God or her, right? So the first person that we need is Louis the 14th. XIV is 14. Louis the 14th. And he is the king of France, right? That is France. For actually most of his life. He is born in 1638, and by the age of 5 has become the king of France. So he's the king for a very, very long time. He is referred to as the Sun King. He believed that he was the most important thing of all, the most important thing in the government and that sort of thing. And so therefore he has the power of the sun. He is the sun in its entirety. He does build the Palace of Versailles, which is this beautiful, sprawling estate. It started off as a very small hunting lodge. I mean, very small. It was a king's hunting lodge, so it wasn't like tiny or anything. It was like a cabin. But he added to it and added to it and added to it and added to it, to the point that the estate itself could house 10,000 people. 10,000 people, as a symbol of the French royal power. He then also makes all the nobles move to the palace itself so that he could keep them all under his roof and all under his control. He was feeding them, he was entertaining them, he was making sure that he knew what was going on at all times. So he centralized the power by making sure that everyone who had governmental authority was literally living at his house. So, that's Louis the 14th. The other person we need to know is Peter the Great. So Peter the Great is from Russia, right? It actually tells you Russia. He's not quite as extreme as Louis the 14th and how long that he's in power, but he's in power a very long time. He's responsible for westernizing Russia. And what it means by westernizing Russia is that he makes it more like Europe. So Russia has always been considered more of a less sophisticated, more rugged country that wasn't really European, but it's not really Asian. They didn't really have a place to fit. And Peter, in his earlier years, does a lot of travel throughout Europe and studies abroad, learns about customs and culture and attire and that sort of thing. And he brings all of that back to Russia. And he wants Russia to be seen as a powerful European country. So he made their customs much more similar to what you would see in places like France. And so one of the things that he does is he actually forces the nobles of Russia to shave their beards. European nobility were almost exclusively clean-shaven, maybe a mustache or something, but almost never do they have like a beard. Of course, Russia's cold and sort of burly, and they are always you always sort of picture them with these big bushy beards, and he literally made it illegal. He forced the nobles to shave their beards as a sign of their wealth and a sign of their nobility, and so that they were more accepted by the Europeans. He also creates the city of St. Petersburg as his new capital similar to the Palace of Versailles. He's building these monuments to Russian power, building it and formulating it the way he would have seen like Paris or London or Rome even. So that operates as the capital of Russia for a significant period of time. All right. And that's it. That's absolutism.